All right, welcome back, Sidetrack Crew. You guys are about to watch episode 7 of the 1947 Chevy pickup build. My name is CJ, aka the Cigar Man, and today we're about to get into this video. I am going to start working with the rear of the cab. We're gonna do some body work in the back of it where it was very rusty. The sandblaster basically just, blew right through the rear of it, so we're gonna have to fabricate everything that's in the back of the cab. I'm going to show you guys what I normally use. It's called a bead roller, and I get that from Harbor Freight, and it's basically just to strengthen up everything. I did the same thing for the floors, and I can't remember or not if I actually put that in the video as far as the little bead roller, but if not, I'm gonna make sure I put it in the description, and also a picture of it, what I used. A lot of work is going into this truck here, but my main goal is not to try to make it to the point that it is so nice that we won't be able to drive this truck like I did pretty much my blue one. Whenever I do my body work to this back cab, because I'm trying to keep as much of the patina and the red truck and that old looking feel of that truck as possible. So I don't want to sand the whole truck. That's why some of the spots you see that I left a lot of the red paint that was on the truck from original. I'm trying to keep the originality. So basically I'm gonna have to try to match up that paint as best I can after I do my body work and stuff. And I think we're gonna get there and stuff once I get all my body work and done and stuff. So you'll see basically what I'm trying to go for. I got my boy out here, Momo. I'll see if you guys can see him back there in the background. Yeah, he's been with me for 14 years, man. I tell you, he's an American Bulldog, and he's a good one, man. I tell you, he's always with me. He's always in the garage when I'm working and stuff. But and actually later on, I'm gonna show you guys what I use to sandblast all these parts with as well. You guys can do the same thing that I'm doing. Here's some pieces over here that I'm gonna show you that we're gonna be sandblasting, and I'm gonna be using these for another project basically. Let's see here. Using these for another project. These are basically the grill pieces. I take them off, I sandblast them, and when I get through with them, they look brand new. All right, so we'll get back into that, but for now, let's go ahead and get into this video, and I'll get back with you guys probably midway. All right, guys, we'll be working on a motor build and rear cap repair. So as you guys see, this is a Savage Yard motor that we got, and we're going to start power washing this motor with oven cleaner. That is a great degreaser, especially for engine block here. I already washed it down one time, and I actually do this several times to get it, the way I want it. These cylinder heads here, you have to use WD-40 and a green Rolock disc to clean the surface of the heads. And you want to be really careful because you don't want to nick it or burr the surface in any kind of way. You see the motor is really nasty and dirty, but I took my time and cleaned it up, and it turned out really good, I think. This is part of the heads that you can see I sprayed that oven cleaner on it, and it bubbles up, and the grease falls right off. And this is the clean surface that I'm showing you now. You see how nice it looks, brand new. You also get inside the cylinder as well. You just spray tons of WD-40 on it, and it'll shine like a brand new penny. It turned out very good. And I actually use oven cleaner on all of my parts that I have to degrease. So these look brand new. Now we're about to get into the rear cap repair. And this is that bead roller. It's a portable bead roller I get from Harbor Freight. And you see I actually cut out the rear of the cab there. And that's part of the piece that I use with that bead roller. And then I just welded it back in place. And you see I also left that red paint there, what I'm talking about as far as making it like a patina. And I also did the cap corners and stuff, but I didn't show that on camera or anything. But I did all my body work in the rear that needed to be done. No rust whatsoever is going to be in this truck when it's done. And that's the final product right there, guys. Alright guys, welcome back. Hey, we are midway through this video. We have broke down this motor. We've already fixed the rear of that cab. And hopefully you guys see what I'm trying to go for here. You know, as far as fabricating that back piece, putting it back in, actually keeping that, you know, the same. Everything's going to be the same, but we're going to repaint that cab. I'm trying to match up that paint the best way I can and stuff. It's always hard to match up faded paint, but we're gonna fade it out anyway. So now, you know, since we got that cab painted up and stuff, we're gonna start tearing down this motor, and we're going to actually remove that. It's a truck intake, and we're gonna remove that, and we're gonna put a Corvette intake on it. We're gonna make a lower profile so it'll sit down. That motor will sit down a lot lower, and also we're going to paint it the same color as the firewall, which is a gunmetal color. So and you can do this stuff yourself. I took that Savage Yard motor, and I have not brought a new part for it yet. The only thing that I did do is, which I didn't show on camera, is that I did buy a bigger cam and some lifters to put in there, but I did have it a head surface. But as you're gonna see, we freaking use oven cleaner to clean that motor off, to degrease it, and it was kind of hard to degrease those valve covers, and I actually had to spray those valve covers over twice. But you know, I sandblasted everything, and I'm gonna show you guys what I use the sandblast with as well. Let me see if I can adjust this this camera so I get a good angle and stuff, and I'll show you guys exactly what I use. See here. So as you see, this right here is basically just a little handheld sandblaster. I think I got this at Tractor Supply or whatever, and you put your sand, open it up, put your sand in there. It's a long process, because you know it takes time just doing it for a small thing, but it gets in the crevices really good. And I got this here is the sand. See if you guys can see that. This here is the sand. It's hard to do this with one hand. This is the sand right here, and that's what I use to basically sandblast all my parts for and stuff. I had different sandblasts. I went through different ones, and I noticed that this one here works the best with my application. It doesn't get clogged up as much, and you know, yes, I do have to refill up that, you know, like a quart size container. And I actually tried to, you know, like save it and redo it, but it just doesn't work as good because it gets clogged up. So anyway, we're gonna get back into this video, and just here in the background, this is my garage. This is where all the magic happens. I got a project going on in there now that I don't want to show you guys yet, but you will get to see what's in the garage. So I'm actually building it and working on it as we speak. So anyway, let's get back to this video, guys. So this is the Corvette or Camaro intake that a lot of people use, and I actually took the fuel rails off of it, and I basically do it just like I do all my other projects that I'm about to paint. You know, I stripped it and I actually primed it really good. A lot of people are afraid to mess with the intakes because they're not sure if the paint is going to stick to it or not over time because of the heat. But I've had no issues and no problems. If you do your prep work properly, you're not going to have any problems. As you see, it turned out really clean and very smooth. So I was happy with that. And you'll see me paint that. Actually, I won't show it the video, but you'll see it painted, that gunmetal that I was talking about. And here's the block, guys. I basically do the same thing with that little sandblaster. I sandblast as much as I can, and then I go ahead and get that high heat primer, and then I prime it. And this is the heads and everything back on that block, and I actually painted my lower block that Chevy red. I think it turned out pretty well. and this is it on the stand. It took me several months to get to this point, but it's all coming together now. And that's a foil 60E transmission. I did it the same way. I sandblasted what I could sandblast it, and then I put the high heat primer paint on there, and it turned out excellent. It looks brand new. And this is another Savage Yard item that came with the motor. It had basically like 93,000 miles on it, if I can remember right. Now I'm getting into spraying the valve covers, and that's that high heat paint, primer paint that I was telling you about from VHT. And you can get that from any of your local auto stores. And I'm just spraying some light coats of this high heat primer. As you see, I always test it on another surface before I actually put it on there. So I actually had a little problem with this one of the valve covers. Like I said, I sandblasted everything good, but for some reason I had like a small reaction, and it seemed like the paint had like a crackle effect to it. So unfortunately I did have to spray that over. I went and sandblasted it. I put degreaser on it, and I had to spray it over. So I let that paint sit for about 10 minutes. As you can see, the color actually got a little darker. And then I sprayed about 2 to 3 coats. I actually think I sprayed 3 coats of primer on these valve covers. And just like everything else, after I finish spraying them and they dry and I let them sit out there in the sun and bake, I go back and I wet sand them just like I'm doing my paint on my vehicle. And right there I'm pointing out that it was effect that it had like some crackling spots. It had some type of defect like I was telling you about, or chemical reaction. I must have had some grease or something left on there. So I actually painted that one over, and it turned out well. I'm sure you guys basically the finished product. It looks really well. And guys, don't forget to wear your PPE whenever you're spraying any type of chemicals inside your garage. Even though it was well vented space that I was using, I lifted up the garage doors. And this is the gunmetal. This is the finished product, guys. You cannot tell me that does not look like a professional paint job. That's the gunmetal that I'm using for the firewall, and also the gunmetal that I'm using for the top of my motor. What do you guys think? I think it turned out very well. I don't think it could have turned out even better. The color matches the truck and everything. Even though you won't see this is going to be underneath the hood. You will not see this, but you will know that it's there. And this is the finished product. It's on the engine stand, and I think it looks sweet. I love it. Alright crew, you guys have reached the end of this video. We got another one out the way. It was fun, and hey, can you believe what we started with? That was a Savage Yard motor. And you know, who say you cannot find a diamond in the rough? Because that's what we did. It's a diamond now, but it was rough when we found it. So you guys can do it as well. I know you can. I've only been doing this since 2013, and you know, 7 years, and I've been basically working on a project pretty much every other year since I've started, and that's not a lot of time, and my skills are getting better the more I do it. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, going along for the trip, and I'm just blown by how nice that motor turned out. And hey, you guys leave some comments down below. I want to know what your honest opinions are about you know, how we refurbish this motor and stuff. We saved tons of money on doing it ourselves. So, you know, only thing I can say is that I'm just tickled, and I'm very excited about this build. We're almost there, and hey, if you got a good cigar and a fast truck or a car, smoke them if you got them. Cigar Man is out.